allegedly broke up my marriage. You're an awful person.
You're 24 years old. Why would I listen to you? Why would you be giving therapy and advice to people who clearly need it? It doesn't make any sense, Ari. This is a horrible idea.
You're listening to
Unlicensed Therapy with Ari Mannis.
I haven't done a podcast in like 2.5 months now.
Really?
Since I got a girlfriend, I haven't done a podcast. So maybe 2.5, 3 months. I realized, I think, that the only reason I was doing a podcast is because I was depressed and unhappy.
Podcasts fill the void.
Yeah, I was filling this void, and I haven't had any motivation to do a podcast since I got a girlfriend. But now I finally did again. So I guess the high from having a girlfriend is starting to wear off, and I'm starting to be my sad self again.
So it's not taking you even higher. Her high has shrunk, and now the podcast is filling not as much of a void.
Right.
It's more of a...
less of a void.
In the construction world, it's called a shim. It's where you put a little sliver. So it's like a sliver.
Damn. I didn't realize. I knew you worked construction because you just told me, but I didn't realize you actually knew your shit.
Dude, I was a project manager.
For how long?
Like 8, 9 years.
That's a long time. And to become a project manager, do you have to be an actual construction worker?
No.
Like, how do you learn?
I'll be honest,
how did you get into that? Because, like, if I apply to be a project manager, no one's hiring me.
Well, they'd be like, you're not.
I don't have the experience.
They go, you don't even know what a shim was.
I knew what a shim was. Okay.
Your resume.
I'm a fucking man.
Your resume, special talents, identifying. Wow.
I have a full drill bit set and drill cordless and corded at my apartment. I've worked a circular saw, a jigsaw.
When I walked in, you were wiping down the wall. That was the most construction thing you probably did in
Okay, that
3
was
years.
a little feminine, but the point is I've built... What have I built? I've mounted a TV before.
That's my critique on. First off, that's still tough because you got to find the studs. I mean, it's high stakes too. It's like if it falls, you just lost money.
Well, you know what I realized about mounting a TV? I could mount a TV.
Mm-hmm.
I could. I've done it. I've proved to myself that I can do it.
I'm listening.
It costs like $60 to hire someone to mount a TV.
So you're saying it's what you gain. Are you saying you should just have somebody do it?
I would much rather have somebody do it.
$60. You now can say you mount a TV.
Yeah, but it's not like when you build a piece of furniture, like if you built your own custom table, or then you have something to show for it, like that's mine, that's my piece of art, that's what I built. Mounted TV is boring. Like, no. I mounted that. Okay, cool.
Bro, if you said to me, I built this table, I'd be like, okay. But then you say, I mounted all those screens, I would be more impressed with that because that takes knowledge of things inside the wall. You don't even know where they are. There's so much more high stakes.
I get what you're saying, but no, this is a piece. I mean, not this table, but
you didn't forge the wood. You got it from a box from like
but if you
Wayfair.
Pick the shade, no, I'm not talking about building a table.
Oh, building it.
I'm talking about buying the piece of wood, sanding it, picking your lacquer.
Oh, that's different.
That would be impressive to me. Mounting a TV doesn't do anything for me.
Well, if we're going that way, I get it.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, how'd you get the resume to be a project manager?
I moved out here to get my master's in architecture. So I worked in architecture for 2.5 years. One year in Connecticut.
Are you good at drawing?
Yeah, I was runner-up class artist in high school, and I got cheated out by by this fucking kid who went around and asked people to vote for him, and I'm like, you can't do that in superlatives.
That's lame as shit.
I had multiple people. I was runner-up class artist, runner-up best eyes because both people
runner-up best eyes.
Dude, what did you get?
First off.
What did you get? You're talking down to me right now, and I don't like this.
How do you even? Do they give out a runner-up?
They had like a ceremony.
They announced the runner-up.
They had all the seniors in the auditorium, and they go, "Okay, best eyes, it's down to these two," and then they gave it to the other kid. So
I feel like they shouldn't even tell someone the runner-up. They should pick a winner and that's it.
I mean,
because
I think the same. Although now I have the accolade where I
could you imagine if someone's like, "Are you a good drawer?" and your credit is I was a runner-up, best drawer in high school.
I say that.
You are pathetic, dude.
Why?
I don't know.
I beat out 350.
I'm just bullying
54 kids.
Congratulations on that.
I can draw very well though. So
yeah, runner-up, best eyes. I got class clown. It was
You would get
That's not what they called it, though. It was called Mr. Torrey Pines High School.
Oh, they didn't even want to put clown on there.
They didn't call it class clown, but that's what it was.
They were that embarrassed. I go, we can't do this to him. We don't want it published in a book.
They just, I think class clown maybe is mean to the student or makes it like a reward for being class clown.
Doesn't care. He wants that.
Oh, I don't care. But yeah, I think the school didn't want that title, so they called it Mr. TPHS.
You were that kid? You were like the loud kid? Or were you just secretly funny and everyone knew?
I was, it depends on the class. If the teacher was weak and I could sense their weakness, I would get in there and ruin their life.
You were manipulative.
If I sensed weakness from an adult, I would climb in and take over the class.
As you should.
But if the teacher was like stern and an asshole and like didn't deal with that shit, then I was quiet and normal.
You were like a hyena.
Yeah, I was like a hyena.
If you saw the injured lion, you would bite it. But if not, you'd fucking run away.
Yeah, so I made a few teachers cry.
Really?
Yeah, I've made, not in high school, but when I was younger, I remember
out of school.
I made one girl in elementary school cry.
Nice.
And I made two teachers cry. They were both female. Not saying. And just saying that's just what it was.
Let's clip that.
And then
you'd get canceled for that.
In middle school, I made my female art teacher cry as well.
I respected my art teacher, so I'd never do that. I made men cry. I got in trouble for bullying once.
A teacher or a kid?
A kid.
Yeah, you do look
his
like
mom
a bully.
called my mom, and then I actually felt so bad. I was like, I can't do this. I have the power to do it, and he knew.
Oh, you stopped bullying after that?
Yeah.
You're saying. You're like, oh, I'm a bully.
If anything, I used my powers for good. And I remember like the bully would sit at our lunch table and I would make fun of him and everybody would laugh, thwarting him. So if anything, that's how I used to.
Was your bullying in high school just like name calling or were there?
It was more beating up kids. It wasn't physical because I couldn't get in trouble because I played sports. So I had to be verbal.
But I'm saying, was the bully at your high school, was he
he was
beating up kids?
Yeah, he was like a wrestler, big dumb fuck.
My high school, the only fights that happened at my high school were interracial fights, where it was like a black guy fighting a Mexican guy or a white guy fighting a black guy. There was no bully fights. There was only race fights.
Well, there was like, I don't think it was race wars. And
yeah, there was only race wars. There was no bully fights.
I think people, when the bully would fight, it was a kid who got sick of his shit and goes, we're fighting. And then the bully would in turn win because he just knew how to wrestle. He was a good wrestler. So then he would just do the move and just punch you in the face.
Dang.
But anyways, he liked me, but even when he would try to start shit, I would just make fun of him and everybody be on my side. But
so you're best drawer and you're like, I should be an architect.
So anyways, moved to LA for architecture. I worked at our
Why did you move to LA for architecture? They have a good architecture school?
No, I went to...
You secretly wanted to be a comedian?
No, actually, I did undergrad in Boston, and with like designing buildings like the Northeast because of the cold and everything. It's very different not code-wise, but it's very different to design a building in the Northeast versus like LA where it's all hot and open air. So I figured, I was like, okay, if I want to be a well-rounded architect, it'd be cool to... I design projects there. I should go to the West Coast. Also, you have 2 years to kind of move wherever. So I was like, I heard good things. Coincidentally, the summer before I moved out here, I did stand up for the first time. So it was kind of like a happy accident. But then I came out here just to kind of, but secretly, even when I went to grad school, I needed the graduate degree to become a licensed architect. So I kind of like had to go to grad school because if you
graduated from grad school?
Yeah.
So you're a licensed architect?
No. So I have my master. I could now sit for the exam if I wanted.
So you could take the test to be one, but you never studied for it?
By the time I got out of grad school and I started working for a year, I was like, I don't even like this. Because I started doing comedy, which was like my creative outlet. And I was like, fuck this. You get paid like shit. And it was just a waste of time. My boss was... Every architect I met, like... They're just such pussies, and it was annoying. So
architect, I don't know much about it, but it seems very competitive.
It's very snobby because it's a design thing. It's the way you know how comics watch other comics and kind of got their 2 cents always. It's like that, but for designing.
Yeah.
So anytime I would do a drawing for like the architect or the boss of our company, they always had 2 cents. They're just snobby, douchebaggy. And I was like, I can't do this. Not to mention you're getting paid.
What if you just started your own firm though?
To do that, you need. At that point, I was like, I don't like this enough to want to go to that extreme to just to be able to design and like design offices. And like once you get to a certain level, it's not your design. It's like jokes are cool because no one can tell you how to design your joke. When you design and like
there's not that many ways to do it.
Well, the owner, for example, like if I was designing this, I'm designing it for you, so I can do whatever I want. But at the end of the day, you have control over it. So you really aren't like doing whatever you want.
And it's not too often that you get a client that's like, I have unlimited budget and I want this to be a piece of art. Most of the time, it's like, hey, I'm making a building to sell offices.
I have this much and I want it to look like this much.
Yeah, and I want it to be basic and just put it together and functional.
And on top of that, you have the broker who's the guy trying to lease it out if we're going to talk about offices. He's now trying to get your design to be the maximum amount of rentable square footage. There's so much money thing coming in, you know, but that's one of the biggest, like in grad school, we'd always have like conversations that are those constraints good make you a good designer, or is it better to be like autonomous where you can do whatever you want? But I would argue that when you have like constraints of like, okay, this is your budget, you got this owner telling you what to do, if you can still design something badass with that, I found that pretty interesting. But I also didn't care enough anymore to want to even go down that road because I was doing stand-up, so I was kind of getting that outlet. So
this was what year?
2000. I graduated 2000. I was in grad school 2010 to 12, and then this was 13 and 14.
Got it. Okay.
And then I did freelance, like architectural things, like renderings, drawings, etc. For like a year and a half.
So you probably make some badass show posters,
dude. I do. You want to see one?
Yeah,
pull it up as we're talking. So I did that. My buddy was in construction while I was doing my freelance stuff, and I was like, this dude makes fucking coin. And I was like, I need to get out of this. And luckily, one of the guys I was doing freelance for, he introduced me to my old boss, and right away, my side note, when you're in architecture and you're like a subordinate employee, you never go to the projects, you sit in the office all day. When I got introduced to my old boss, right away, I was like the assistant project manager for this like $20 million like real estate headquarter project in Beverly Hills. My salary like doubled immediately. I was like, I'm not even kidding you, for like 4 years, I was like, I don't even feel like I'm working. My workload got chopped in half. I was making
double money.
Dude, I was making, and then I got a raise.
And what kind of money are we talking about?
So I went from
for assistant project managing.
So technically, the term, I was a project engineer at that point, but my duties, if you on
how
paper,
much does a project engineer in LA make? Are you making $50K a year, $100K a year?
I started there, I was making 75.
75.
So I went from making 45 at the architecture firm, fucking counting pennies,
to 75, which is good money. And so then, what did you make when you were a full-on project manager? What is the job you just quit were you making? 120 something.
You
just quit a 120 something job?
Dude, it doesn't.
I didn't realize you were a rich guy.
I'm not rich, but
You're freaking rich, dude.
Dude,
for a comic?
Yeah, but I wasn't.
You're the richest comic. Like, you know what's crazy?
You know, the best part was when I was touring with Drew and doing my job, I was like,
yeah, making such good money.
I know.
You know what's weird to think about? Like, when you make 120 a year,
a lot of money,
which is a lot of money, but like to a normal person, it's not crazy money. That's just like a good job.
That's the thing. In LA, you're like, how am I still broke?
Yeah,
like,
in LA, it's not a lot of money, but or it's good money, but you know what I mean. Anyway, to make more than 120 though, as a comedian.
Well, it's not as a comedian; it was as a construction.
No, I know, but to make more than 120 as a comedian, you have to be a famous person or like moderately famous. You need to straight up be selling tickets to shows. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Right.
So it sucks because there's a lot of comedians that are like would love to make 50K a year doing stand up. But if you did that, that would still be a downgrade from your regular job.
Which I kind of knew going into that. So like that's why, and I'm pretty proud of myself as far as like the last year. I mean, I knew at one point I was going to quit. I knew when I came to this company, because I'm actually, the company I just left, I was only there for a year and a half. I was at my old company for much longer. I knew I was going to leave. So I started to like generate like an exit plan where I used to, not to be a douche, I leased a BMW. I got rid of that. I just started downsizing everything. I gave myself a budget. In the last couple months, I made this like crazy Excel file thing where I basically calculated my overhead, including spending.
That's dedication.
Bro, it's actually, I want to show people because it's pretty badass. And even now, so like the last couple months, I put in like what I did make through comedy with like brand deals and my overhead of what I was making with my job. And then I had like my deducts. But then it's cool because I basically saved up a year of overhead for myself. Today, I'll just say it on air. Today's my first day of not having the construction job.
Right. You're just
so basically from today, I bought myself 1 year, assuming I make $0 in comedy.
You're giving yourself a year to just give it a shot of not working.
Right.
Job.
But the beauty is I do make money through my brand deal. Dude, like next month, my overhead's covered for 2 videos. That's
incredible.
Shout out Mudwater.
I like Mudwater is the water that's kind of brown, right?
It comes in that little cylinder. Did you try it?
Wait, it's like when you drink it, it doesn't look like water, right? But it tastes like water.
No. Mudwater is that new like coffee alternative.
Okay,
I'm sorry, this is taking way too long. It's that like coffee alternative. Long story short, I've been doing brand deals, which has been great. They are giving me 2 for next month. So now I'm like, okay, let's assume I make $0.
And it is for your TikTok mainly.
Social. I'll do Instagram and TikTok, but then that doesn't count what I make through views on TikTok and Instagram. Yeah. So we kind of went off on a tangent of the money thing.
No, but that's crazy. And one thing that I think you should get some credit for is when you do what you're doing, giving up this lifestyle that you've already built is hard. Like as lame as, who cares about a BMW, right? But downgrading from, what car do you have now?
I got a Honda Accord.
Yeah, so like downgrading from a BMW to Honda Accord is something because
people don't realize, it sounds douchey, but it is like a mental thing because the BMW, and it sounds very dumb to say, and people are gonna be like, ooh, but it's like, it wasn't just me driving a douchey car. It was, when I went from my Civic to a BMW, I was so proud of myself because I actually made enough to be able to afford that car without being housebound.
And then it's like humbling yourself. It's like going from a 2-bedroom to a 1-bedroom apartment.
Those are some I made. They're fucking funny.
Yeah, those are good.
Look at that shit.
I like
the Castaway one.
Yeah.
Look at the Lord of the Rings one on the bottom right.
That's funny. You went for funny rather than like pro looking.
Well, it was good because I would do that, and then more people would like it on Instagram, so it would be shown to more people. So, granted, it wasn't even my shows; it was for Drew.
Right. No, they're good.
But
yeah. But when you downgrade something in your life, even though it doesn't matter, like going from even a 2-bedroom apartment to a studio apartment, it's all you need. A nice studio, it's fine. But there is that mental state of like, oh, I'm going backwards.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
and it's hard.
This past couple months, I really started to kind of make that plan a couple months ago just because I needed to get to that certain threshold of money to be able to, have a year's worth. But it does take like discipline of like, I can't go out. Because when you have that steady paycheck, like me and my girlfriend, like I would go buy sushi, $120 and not even think about it. And next thing you know, your credit card bill is like $3,000 a month and you're just like, all right. But now I'm like the complete opposite. But what I did do, like, I took advantage of the fact that I was able to make money. I did in my overhead, figure like spending money and shit. So I'm not trying to quit and just eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'm trying to like still lead this relatively somewhat a version of my old life. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, dude. But anyways, so
best of luck. I don't think you're gonna make it. So
when I think I am, my brain does the negative devil's advocate thing, and
you need to have the mentality that you are. Don't listen to me.
Well, I have both.
But
in the middle, in the day, I'm gonna make a mentality.
$120,000 a year. The only way you're gonna do that is if you get famous.
Not really.
120K?
Dude, you get a couple. This is where you're simple. You're a simple-minded man, and you don't. I can see how limited
comic,
your bandwidth is.
What comic do you think is making 120K a year off comic? Maybe like Chappelle Lacey.
No.
You think he's making significantly more than that?
I don't know. He's not a good.
I think he's making around there. Would be my guess. You have to get to like that. That's like your bar of what you need to get.
Well, I know what your paycheck has to be essentially to be making.
You're making 10 grand a month.
Yeah.
10K a month every month.
Entertainment's tough because it's
inconsistent.
Because it's inconsistent.
Yeah.
I think what comic's making that? I don't know.
What do you think the bar, like how many, because now comedy is basically turned into social media to me.
Right.
Like to measure your success.
Right.
It's how many followers you have. How many followers do you think you need to quit your day job?
For as somebody listening, telling them, or
yeah, if someone was like an open micer,
I would say,
or like, what do I need to get to where I could quit my job at Arby's?
I mean, Arby's.
Yeah, because you obviously don't. Most people aren't making 120. Let's say most people are making 50.
I would say quit your job if you're like, let's start with Instagram. If you're at 50 and your engagement's still pushing you in the right direction and you have companies reaching out to want to work with you with brand deals. I think it's all money driven. You know what I'm saying? So like if I wasn't getting brand deals, I wouldn't think about this, or nor would I mean, maybe I would, but I'd say like maybe if you're north of like 50, and again, it's going up, but then again, also
mine's going down.
Yeah, well, obviously. I mean, it's going down right now. Isn't it funny? Right now it's going down and we're still just talking like it's good.
My social media following on or Instagram goes down. The only two that organically go up for me are TikTok and YouTube.
Oh, YouTube is? I mean, that's the best one.
Yeah, YouTube's the best
That's like by far the best one.
YouTube's the one I should be spending every day
Instagram's
on, and
trash right now. Like Instagram, I don't even know. It's just a thing. I rank them based on responsiveness as far as trying to sell tickets, but they're all like, you could do a chart of like for making money, Facebook's the best one, and YouTube. For responsiveness, I'd say Instagram and Facebook. For, insurance of life and making money, YouTube is,
Right.
But I would say with saying like, okay, if you have 60,000 on Instagram and all of your followers are in America, so you can tour and sell tickets, like that would be a glimmer of hope, and you can maybe start to think about quitting. TikTok, who the fuck knows, bro? People have 1 million and can't. TikTok's just a number. Like, we don't even know what that means. It's more of a clout thing. If you had a lot of YouTube, fuck. I don't know shit about YouTube.
My YouTube, when I made it sound like I have a lot of YouTube.
What do you have, like 1,000?
5.7 thousand.
That's great.
It's something.
What do you get for like a podcast episode?
Money-wise or views?
Views.
Oh, like 500 views? Not a lot.
That's interesting.
On average. That's if it's a no name.
But you'll
I have some ones that popped.
So after a week, what do you think this will be? Like 500?
Yeah, like
that's
500.
pretty good though.
Yeah, it's not. It's something.
YouTube's hard.
Hey, think about this. If you went and did a show for 500 people, it'd be a great show.
It'd be a really good show.
Fun as heck.
I mean, YouTube. I don't.
I've been saying heck now, and I've also been saying frickin' a lot.
Oh, you don't swear anymore?
I do, but for some reason in my day to day, I've been saying frickin'. I don't know where it came from.
Because you have a girlfriend.
Started. I don't think so. My girlfriend is, she gets naughty. She gets naughty.
When she's sucking you off, you go, that freaking feels so
feels so freaking good. The way you
freaking
suck
good.
on my dong.
Oh, what the heck?
Your girlfriend, I was watching, that was my first time in San Diego seeing her do stand-up.
Yep.
Is it public? Are we allowed to talk? You have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
She's a comedian. Yep. I've never seen her before that. She gets pretty naughty up there.
Good.
Your girlfriend
when you're with
naughty
me,
on
when
stage.
you're with me, she's
naughtier than you. Way naughtier than you.
Did you even watch any of my set?
No, but you don't get that naughty.
I get naughty.
Not like that.
I get freaking naughty.
She gets freaking naughty up there. She's talking about getting her vagina
waxing.
Yeah, she gets freaking wild up there.
That's like our role play.
She gets Florida up there.
I pretend like I'm an audience member, and then I hit on her after the show. I go, "What's up with all that freaking naughty shit?" No, she does. I'm surprised you never seen her before.
I obviously know her. I've seen her around, but I've never actually watched her stand-ups.
I get it, dude.
I don't watch comedy.
I really don't either. I feel like when I saw you at Haha that night, that was probably the first time I saw you in a long. I mean, I see your clips online, but I don't. I don't watch them. But
in New York, it's way different. I was just in New York for a few weeks.
Right.
People watch each other there. They go out and support each other.
How do you feel about New York comics?
Overall, I like it better. I think New York comics are better.
Really?
Like, here's the thing. They all think they're better and say they're better, which is annoying.
Right.
Because they come to LA and they go, people in LA suck.
Right.
And that's bullshit. There's amazing LA comics. There's shitty LA comics. There's amazing New York comics. There's shitty New York comics.
Do you think there's more over there?
But I think there's more comics over there. They pursue it in a different way. They pursue it as like, I want to be a stand-up, where they're in New York, they're not talking nearly as much about getting a TikTok following or writing a script or getting an audition or getting a JFL show. Because I mean, they are. All that stuff matters. It's there. They want a career, but they're more talking about, I need to have a new 10 minutes.
I want to grind.
Week. Yeah, I want to do 5 shows a night.
I was talking to a New York comic at the Improv, and she was saying, like, they almost, like, pride themselves on, like, being able to do well at a shitty show.
Yeah,
she was she was like, yeah, but, you know, somebody will be talking like, yeah, but did you do good at that show at, you know, whatever, Joe's Coffee in Brooklyn for 4 people? You're like, why would you go to that?
Yeah, there's that. And then here, if you're the top comic, and I'm talking about like, if you're Theo Vaughn,
right?
Maybe you get 3 spots a night.
That's pretty insane to think about.
Right? Like if you could do more, you could try and cram in more, but like comfortably speaking, you go pop in the Laugh Factory, the Improv,
and that's
store,
a full night.
Maybe 2 at the store. You're doing 3 spots a night.
Right.
In New York, me and you could do 3 spots a night, and that's not a crazy thing at all.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Did you do that when you were there?
I was doing like 2 because I just wasn't trying to burn out. Wasn't focused on that. I was there for another reason.
Oh yeah.
I was there to start another podcast studio.
Shout out studio podcast.
So stand up was almost an afterthought there, and I still was getting up more than I get up here.
What's the process like? How do you know who to hit up?
I think just after doing stand up for 10 years, I did feel like, oh, I don't know that many people, but no, I know just enough New York comics now to where I would just say I'm in town and
I never did stand up there.
Get shit. It was my second time doing it there because I was always like, I didn't want to go there for no reason.
Right.
But now, what? I think you should.
Yeah.
Go to places. I used to be like, it was almost like an ego thing. I don't want to go to Austin until I have a paid show in Austin. I don't want to go to New York till I have a reason to be there. Go for fun. Yeah. Especially if you can afford it. Go meet people, get on shows. You're gonna build.
No, you're right.
Build contacts and get money and
Dude,
get
not to
shows
mention
that way.
I'm from the Northeast and I did shows in Boston and I was like, these are the people I know and growing up and like they resonate so well. If anything, out here, you meet all these West Coast fucks like yourself.
I do better in New York. Maybe it's
I do way better on the Northeast.
My comedy does better there.
I bomb in Connecticut. My first show my mom came to, I've been doing stand-up for 5 years. I went with Drew, he's Hartford Funny Bone, and my mom cried. And I just
because you did so bad?
No, I did a couple jokes. Like I did a joke how she would discipline me via haircut because she was a hairdresser. Did a joke about how my grandmother, when she sneezed, she would scream, so it'd scare me.
And she hated it.
Oh, she thought like comedy is like, she would go to like
you thought you were gonna do like knock jokes.
She thought like the only comedy she saw up to that point was like the American Legion had comedy night and it was like an Italian guy named Joe and he's like, let me tell you, my mom makes all the fucking meatball. Like she thought I was gonna go up there and be like silly. She didn't know how raw comedy was. So when I kind of like was jabbing a little, even though like she was wine drunk, which didn't help, but
that must have been a horrible night for both of you.
Oh,
just your mom crying at your comedy.
Well, not to mention,
go there. You're up there doing your dream. And you're like,
I didn't see it though. Thank God, I didn't look in the crowd and see her sobbing.
But you found out later.
I found out. So I got off stage and I was like, that sucked. I was like, I was in my head. All my friends.
Oh, you didn't feel like you did good. You had a bad set.
It was like just all my friends and family were there. You're in your head. I was like, that sucked. And then on top of that, I walk off stage and I'm hanging out by like the kind of the corner of the room where the people are going to the or walking towards the bathroom, and my buddy goes, "What's up?" He goes, "Good job." I was like, "Thanks." He goes, "Oh, your mom's crying," and I go, "No, she's not." He goes, "Yeah, she is," and he walked away, and I was like, I thought he was fucking with me, and then I saw her, and she clearly was crying. And to that point, it was brutal. I never want to do comedy in front of her again. She doesn't even like. I know she sees me doing well now, she loves when I do the silly videos because it's not like
she just doesn't like it when you're inappropriate. Basically,
Yeah.
she wants you to be a PC.
She wants me to be
comedian.
like Sebastian Maniscalco. Like she wants
Right.
like that as a comic son, not
Damn,
me
that's
talking
hard.
about my fat cock.
That's hard. Yeah, my parents are surprisingly, at least pretend to be very supportive of my.
Do they go
comedy.
to the shows?
They want to. I don't let them. I don't. They've been before, but I don't like it when friends and family go to my shows.
I don't like it because they know when you're lying and when you're not lying.
I don't lie.
You don't ever embellish.
Very, very
Really?
slightly. Yeah, but that's why I also
I
don't
do.
have a lot of material.
What's the most time you've ever done?
Most time?
What's the most time right now you think
an
you
hour.
can do where you're like, you're not putting jokes to fill time?
I think I have a really strong feature set.
Oh, yeah, because you feature a lot.
So like 25 minutes, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could do like 45, but at that point there's like, 15 in there, old jokes and just shit that I don't want to be doing.
A couple shims.
Yeah, but if someone offered me a special right now, I'd want to do like a 25-minute special.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, when somebody's told me right now, like, hey, do you want to do 35? I'd be like, okay.
I will.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll do it. But I'm like, even when I like did the Laugh Factory thing, like,
Yeah,
I did like
I was doing
40,
45.
I did
there.
45, and I was like, when they laugh and I can cut jokes because the laughters are long, I'm like, okay, I feel better. But when it was if it's like a quick laugh show and I'm burning through shit, I get hot. My back is a little wet.
When I'm headlining, I consciously go a little slower, let the laugh sink in more, do a little more crowd work, doing some story jokes, some stories.
A little panda.
But usually it actually makes me better.
It's true.
Because of it. I'm like slowing down. I'm more just like in the moment.
Right.
And I actually usually headlining sets go better for me. And I don't know if it's because of that or is there something in the audience, even though most of the crowds don't know who I am. I'm not famous. But is there something to who's ready for your headliner?
That is a thing.
And then they're like more about it and more into it.
They're
because
on
of
your
that.
side slightly more.
Yeah.
I've noticed that where even on little shows, a bad audience the whole night, they're giving you a little more because they're like, finally, the guy. Maybe because you're last.
The guy. You're like the guy. Even I do feel that when
you're like the boss. You're like, oh, the boss showed up. Okay, we trust him more than these
exactly. And I do feel that a little bit. Like when I'm at the Laugh Factory
and it's the pressure
headlining, I was like,
I'm the guy.
The audience, I'm the guy. Even
I
if they don't know who I am,
It kind of scared me a little.
Somebody.
I didn't like a part of me. Even how I think about like quitting my job, and I'm like thinking about succeeding, whether it's like when I'm the guy or even it kind of I'm like, ugh, what the fuck? Like it freaked me out a little bit.
Is there anything in your life that I could help you with? Any problems or things like that? Like any therapy type things that I could help you with?
What's
any
your
personal
specialty?
issues? Actually, this is going to sound narcissistic, but I'm really smart. I can probably help you in any problem you have, whether that's
That's
business.
a very vague answer to the question I had. So you're saying anything?
I don't have my specialty is everything. I'm a fucking genius. Freaking genius.
Yeah, what would be a good?
But like things that I specialize in, probably business, tech, sexual things.
How do you handle? Because you mentioned earlier you don't drink. How do you handle not overindulging? Because sometimes I find myself in I don't have an addictive personality, but there's moments where, say I'm out, you have a couple more drinks
you and your
and
girlfriend are alcoholics.
No,
Yeah.
I drank last night. How do you
and your
what
girlfriend are
people?
alcoholics. You are.
I'm not an alcoholic.
You're a little bit of one.
In moments, I feel
You're not like alcoholic. Like you're throwing your life away to alcohol. So you're not like, oh my God, you're not Eric
I'm an alcohol
Myers.
consumer.
You're not like Eric Myers. You're not like
No,
that guy's
not that.
going to die from drinking.
Right.
Or that guy's going to like ruin his relationships. You're not
Start
like that.
swinging on people.
But you binge drink and you would probably feel better about yourself and be more productive if you drank less than you do.
When I don't drink all week,
maybe you're not an alcoholic. You drink too much.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think that's it. Where I don't drink during the week, but like if we went
But you
out,
do drink during the week.
not as much since not having a job. I did with my
Yeah.
job. I'll
Okay.
be honest. Like I'd have wine at night, not a lot, but then every now and then you're like, oh, it's been 10 days and I've consumed alcohol every day. But it was only be like 2 glasses of wine. But even though it's a little bit,
Most times I see you at night, comedy wise, you're drunk.
That's a legitimate
And
lie.
you're not. No, it's not. And it's not.
I
like,
wasn't drunk on San Diego.
You weren't. But
I didn't
that's
have a
because you had
drink
to
at all.
drive back to LA.
I've drank in San Diego and driven
When
back
I
to
see you in
LA.
LA, most times at night, you're drinking, you're tipsy, you're buzzing. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it is a thing. Like, we're not that
must
good
have
of
been so
friends.
drunk,
I
I
don't
don't-
hang out with you that often. And I'm like, oh, he parties. Like,
My thing
he
is-
likes to party.
What I'm trying to do now with my not having a job is Monday through Thursday. See, that's the alcoholic in me. I can't even say Friday. I was gonna say Monday through Friday, consume zero alcohol, workout, and all this good stuff. But when I hear people, they're like, I went out and had one drink. In my head, I'm like, how did you do that?
See, it's hard for me to. Here's the difference. Like, I could tell you for me, but it's not you. For me, I don't even like the taste of alcohol.
See, I don't
So
like.
for me,
I don't like
like,
the taste. I like
after
the
a
effect.
drink, I'm like, that's all I want.
yeah, but you want the effect.
The effect is nice, but it's not worth it for me for the taste. So I'm not like
The taste literally outweighs the effect for you.
For me, drinking alcohol is like drinking medicine.
Do you go down on girls?
Yes, but I'm picky about it.
I could tell. If you're,
So some guys
if you're
don't like
willing
it.
to overlook the taste of alcohol to bypass the effect, you must you must not even want to taste the vagina.
So that's actually dictates who I fall in love with quite a bit.
Really?
So like my current girlfriend, I love going down on her.
Really?
It is getting a little more sexual than
Yeah,
I
but
want
it's
to.
kind of like
But
it's a parallel
She
between.
tastes amazing.
And what's the benefit you're?
So I'd say 75% of women who I, let's say, hook up with,
yeah.
I don't want to go down there. Some guys, that's their thing. I go down on chicks. I do this. That's not my thing.
So you're a flavor guy.
I'm a flavor guy. And alcohol,
It's not a
every
flavor.
sip of alcohol I take, whether it's a PBR or a shot, I make this face.
I'd make this face,
Yeah.
and then I go.
And I've been
three
drinking
more.
I've been drinking off and on, since I was 15. So you could say 17
See, I didn't
years.
start that. I started maybe 16.
But I've never had a drinking problem because it's always, every time I drink, I'm like, everyone around me is drinking. I should drink. I don't want to be a weirdo. But it's always a struggle to have more than 2 drinks.
Really?
I'm never like, yeah, pass me another one. Let's keep drinking. Shots. That's I hate
See,
it.
I cross like thresholds where if I'm like 2 drinks in and it's boring and someone's like shots, I'm like no. But if there's fun involved, the fun nudges me towards the party side.
Yeah.
And then but I'm like, well, I've also,
And the hangovers. Ugh,
I mean,
hate
it's brutal.
hangovers. It's brutal. It's
even this morning,
No,
I
really.
felt kind of yucky, so I worked out. That's why I was running a little late.
So because of that, it's hard for me to tell alcoholics or people who like to drink
How to?
how to not drink because it's just clearly we're different. We're wired
So
differently.
you're not
in
the
that
best
sense.
therapist.
But I still have things that I overindulge in.
So how
Junk
do you?
food.
How do you? Okay, so
Women
women.
and junk food.
Sex.
Those are like my things that I'm like, I'll ruin my night to do that. You know what
Really?
I mean? Like I'll go out with a girl who I know I can't stand her personality in the
Oh.
hopes that I'll get a banger.
Wow.
Or I'll, know I'm going to regret this dish. Like last night at midnight, I ordered Indian food.
That's
delivered
crazy.
To my house. And I knew the whole time, Indian food's not that bad for you, but I knew the whole time, like,
It's just a late
I'm
night
going to
eating.
I'm going to be full. I'm going to wake up bloated.
Right.
It's not a good decision. Did it anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, in the
so
moment,
I have those things.
so
And
do-
I can't, again, I can't really give you good advice because I haven't fixed them for me. It's hard.
So if I went to my therapist,
It's just
he was like,
self-discipline.
if I went to my therapist and he goes, "Yeah, I can't really give you advice there."
Like,
I'd be
I think a
we're
normal
done
person
here.
would be like, remind yourself that this isn't a good decision.
I know.
And blah, blah, blah. You're going to regret it. I know. I already know that.
My
but I still
trigger,
do it.
my trigger is if I can get through. So like I've taken upwards of 30 days off. So like once I build credit,
Yes.
I
That makes it
feel more. It's like the credits like in my face, like right before you take the first sip. Like don't do that. It's like when I work out for
Don't
20
throw it
days.
away. Yeah.
Don't throw it away.
Building a
but,
routine.
But when I don't have any backlog of good days, you're like, what the fuck? I drank yesterday. Why am I going to drink
And
today?
I think food for me, bringing it back to me because I'm selfish.
Nice.
Same thing. Food's a drug. And I just need to get a few weeks in of being
just-
healthy.
And then
And
you
it
don't
makes it
want,
easier.
and then you like almost get this clarity, like, what was I doing? Like when I took, when I didn't drink for like 30 days, I remember I was even at the point where I'd go to a bar and I'm like, get the fuck away from me. and you start to like have this clarity, like I was that's disgusting. But then you have your first sip, you have a couple of White Claws, you're like, oh, that's fun. So then you have this like split personality of like, that's fun. But then when I wake up in the morning, you're back to that clarity guy, like, you piece of trash.
Yeah, why did you do that? Yeah. And drinking's the same way too, because you like drinking. When you're around people who like drinking, you're like, but it'd be so fun to join them.
You feel like an outcast.
And it's the same thing with food.
Right.
It's so hard to go to a diner with friends and be like, I'm just going to get a tea. Because you like food. People around you are doing it.
Yeah.
You're like, I could join them. They're all doing it.
I know.
Peer pressure is real. Peer pressure is a thing.
My trick, I would try, like, if I knew I was going to go to, like, the Naughty Pig right here and, like, meet up with comics or whatever, I need, and this is maybe even, I need, like, to feel a stimulant. If I'm going in feeling zero baseline sober, I was like, I'd get a coffee I would be willing, if on my month off from drinking, I would drink a coffee at 11 p.m. just so I feel something going into the event and I'm not boring and yawning.
I do things like that.
You know?
Yeah. Get a coffee. It's healthier. It's good for your bowel movements. You're participating.
I love caffeine. I think I'm addicted to caffeine. I mean, I think I work out because I like taking the pre-workout drink, which is just like
caffeine.
Assloads of
These
caffeine.
things have 200 milligrams.
Celsius heat. Wait.
Yeah, those are just regular Celsius. But yeah, they have 200 milligrams of caffeine, and they make me shake. If I have an empty stomach and I drink one, I'm literally shaking from all the caffeine.
I woke up this morning, empty stomach, took my pre-workout, which has like upwards of 300. I don't shake, but I love the feeling. And then I work out, and then I feel good because I burnt fat because you have empty stomach. And then it sets the tone for the day. My anxiety's not as bad because I think I just exhausted all the adrenaline that would have otherwise attacked my brain throughout the day. And
here's a thought I was thinking of. It's kind of, we're going to get into a little risque talk here, a little non-PC.
Good, dude. Let's
talk
go.
Some bad boy shit. And I've never done this, but it was a thought that crossed my head, and me and my lady friend were talking about it last night. If you're, let's say, on a date with a dumb girl, or a girl, let's just say girl.
Nice.
Not all girls are dumb, but anyway, I don't know where I'm going with
Most
this.
of them are.
So you're on a date with a girl.
Just kidding.
And she doesn't want to hook up. But you convince her to. Not not from negging her, not from being like, come on, not from like being too persistent or pushy.
You're actually like laying down a case.
Or what if you said to her like, hey, like what if she had a sunburn and you're like, you know what helps sunburns? Cum.
Oh, wow.
And you convinced her with some white lies.
So you're lying that cum is like an aloe.
Yeah. You tell her that cum is an aloe, and she believes
the same
you.
properties as aloe.
Yeah, and
I would use the word
you.
properties too to trick
she
her.
believes you, and she milks you for that aloe. Is that illegal? Would you be canceled for that?
If that would imply the next day her sunburn felt worse, and then she
or at least not better.
And then she goes, "I thought you said."
And you go, listen, you had a really bad burn. It doesn't.
You're like, I thought it would help.
Yeah,
but you know deep down you were lying.
You know it's not going to help, or if it helps, it's
Why is it the pursuer's fault? Where she should be doing some sort of troubleshooting.
You tricked her, basically. You trick a girl.
But she should have been doing. She could have easily pulled out her phone and Googled, "Does cum make sunburns feel better?" And
Right. I acknowledge you tricked her. She fell for your trick. She just took your word for it, and she did it. Does that make you a bad guy?
Yeah. But if you're gonna soften the edges, I'd be like, you should have looked it up. You could have Googled cum. And also,
and again,
this is
great theoretical. I have never told a girl that my semen is aloe.
No.
Or at least maybe as a joke I did, but I've never.
I've told a girl my semen will give her a sunburn. Just
because it's so freaking hot.
It looks like a fucking slug burnt her.
A freaking slug burnt her,
dude. Just a fucking hot line down her back.
Yeah,
I'm not wanting to come on girls like in a weird area.
Do you shoot big loads?
I throw ropes.
What's that?
Shooting ropes. You know, the nut, it looks like a rope.
I just drip and dribble.
Oh, you're just kind of a spew. You look like an old fountain. You look like a fountain.
Like a broken fountain. A clogged fountain.
You look like the fountain that they just turned off.
And sometimes I'm like, but I think the reason is because I ejaculate a decent amount if I held it up.
Yeah, you got to you'll have good nuts if you don't do it for a couple days.
Yeah, exactly, which I've never done since
one time I was at
12.
I was in Connecticut, and it was my birthday, and my cousin, we're at a bar, and he's like, dude, you want to go get rub and tugs? And I was like, let's do it. And long story short, the woman was jerking me off, and I shot so hard.
I've never done a rub and tug.
Hit me in the face.
Surprisingly.
Whoa. It went.
Hit yourself.
And it hit me in the cheek. So I was also 22 at the time.
People, I've heard that story before.
I'm telling the truth.
No, I believe you. I'm not saying. But I've heard people who
I did have a sunburn.
I
had a sunburn on my face too, and it helped.
That's good aloe. Yeah, it's a good aloe. I don't think I'd be that grossed out if I did that to
I didn't
myself.
give a fuck.
Yeah, who cares?
It's
your own juices.
Yeah, if it went in my mouth, I'd laugh. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I think every guy would do it to themselves.
Like, shit is disgusting. Like, if that I wouldn't laugh about that. But
even then, I'd much rather prefer it to be my
own
shit than
shit.
someone else's shit.
If it's my own shit and it's anywhere outside of my mouth or in nose, I'd be like,
damn. Yeah, I've wiped it on my finger before.
I mean, that's
from a bad wipe.
I mean, if it's on
I've wiped my own shit on my hand several times.
Like bare hand?
Yeah. Like I'll go for the wipe.
Oh, but you have toilet paper in there.
Yeah, but I'll miss or whatever. Something happens and I'll pull it
I
up.
thought you had zero toilet paper in there.
No, I got toilet paper and I have a sink. I'll wash my hands immediately after, but does this happen to you?
Yeah, of course.
And it gets
like
on your
today,
finger?
I think it happened.
Yeah, it happens to me and I'm like, ugh. It's
I go
not that
this.
big of a deal. It makes me feel like an amateur. I'm like, I've been wiping for 32 years and this is still happening to me.
If you have a big clump, it happens to me when the roll is slowing down. I have no toilet paper anywhere. Like this happened. This happened yesterday where my girl was over. I didn't want to have to yell for her to get me a paper towel. I knew I had no toilet paper, and I had like like when you start to see the brown through the white, you're like, oh, So I had to do some like folding shit. No pun intended, but I think I caught like the side on a couple. But it's like when you're like, playing with fire, you're gonna get fucking some shit on you.
No one clip any of this. Don't clip this shit. I don't want shit talk.
Why?
On social media.
Then beep it.
I'm gonna leave it in. I'm leaving it in the podcast.
Over beep it.
The long form. No one clip this.
Over bleep out what we're saying to see if they even pick up what we're talking about.
Any thoughts on the Roe versus Wade? Just because that's relevant, and we're doing a podcast and it's timely.
I mean, I think it's.
Are you pro-life? Are you
pro-choice?
Pro-choice.
Pro-choice. Dude, it's like.
Such a basic answer.
It is a
basic LA answer.
No, I think it is.
I
don't know. I'll play dumb where I don't know. One, I am pro-choice. It's like
yeah, bet you are.
Some old men. I'm just saying the hacky things I read online, but I'm very pro-choice.
Here's my thoughts on it.
I'm pro-choice up to an extent. I mean, you can't be aborting fucking 9 month. There must be a threshold where you can't do it.
6 weeks is the one they're trying to do. 6-week threshold. Heartbeat.
I mean, I'll do under 1,000 heartbeats.
That's pretty probably. I don't know the time of that one.
How many is that? That's like a day.
Here's my thoughts. I don't know how to make this funny, and I think a lot of people have the same thought as me. It's not a unique thought or perspective.
Nice.
But I am pro-life.
Okay.
I would never abort a baby myself, or like if it was me and a girl and she was like, what do you want to do? I'd be like, I want to keep it.
Okay.
Even if it was a girl I didn't like or want to have a future with, all that stuff. But that's me.
Right.
I'm all about doing what I want to do.
Yeah, you want a family.
No, I don't. I don't want a family. I don't want a baby. But I'm saying if I got a girl pregnant, I'd want to keep the baby because I don't want to abort a baby. I would feel guilty about that.
Right.
But that's me. And if you were pregnant or got a girl pregnant, or if a girl was here and she was pregnant and she wanted to get an abortion and I had nothing to do with it, do whatever you want.
So I get it.
So I'm for abortion, but I would never do it.
That's a very noble answer.
And I think
so. You're in your sovereignty of Ari Mannis.
if it was my world,
You're pro-life.
I'm pro-life, and if it was a girl I was dating, I would very much encourage her to keep the baby. Or if a girl I wasn't dating, if it was a one-night stand and she was like, "Hey, I'm pregnant," I'd be like, I'm not.
Let's figure it out.
Let's keep it. If it's up to me, which it isn't, it's
right.
up to the woman. But if she was like, "I want to abort it," it's not my choice. It's not me. It's the other person. And I think in politics, in this PC culture, in this left versus right world that we live in, there is not enough people that are willing to just be like, "Hey, I have an opinion and that guy has an opinion and we're allowed to have different opinions."
They want to if they were like you, they want to instill that thought into other people.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, on both sides.
Right.
I think that
it's very it's very brainwashy when very aggressive sides are trying to it's like people trying to preach religion. You're like, you can believe it. I don't care though.
Like some people would probably hear that I would never get an abortion, and I don't like that guy. I'm not talking to that guy. He doesn't get it.
No, I think if they heard your point,
they would hear my point.
But if you said I'm pro-life, it's shitty because pro-life, they almost assume you're the aggressor,
right? Versus
this version of pro-life where you're like, I'm pro-life, but I'm also pro-choice when it's outside of my home. But inside my home,
there's too many. I'm seeing so many tweets or Instagram posts that are like, if you're pro-life, unfollow me right now because we'll never get along, and I don't want
You're like, I can prove
life.
you wrong. I bet that yeah. I mean, that's
it's so divided. It's like, why can't both sides just be like, hey, they're cool, I'm cool?
That's a problem because they need to have a law that. I mean, this is a dumb question, but it's like, what are they? I mean, even with the rape cases, though, that's insane that they're making those women, that the law is saying those women have to have that child. That's crazy.
And I think they should have the child. Me.
You do.
Well, now my choice.
No, but you're now disregarding. What if she doesn't want to have it?
It's not up to That's what I'm saying. My belief is she should have it.
Oh, okay.
But that's me. It doesn't, and it's not my choice.
But if she doesn't want to, you're going to agree with her. Because you said earlier...
I disagree with her, but I think she should do whatever. It's not up to me.
Okay, so you're just going to support her, but your underlying subtext is, I'll support your...
I disagree with what you're doing, but it's not my decision to make. It's your decision to make, is my point.
I feel like earlier you said, I
don't support abortion, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm against abortion. But it's not my decision. It's not my law to make. I don't think people should make laws for other people.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? I think I don't want to do drugs. I think drugs are bad. But if you want to shoot up heroin, I don't think it's me to say you're not allowed to do that.
Right. You'll try to talk the person out of it, but at the end of the day, you're still saying you can do what you want. I'm going to tell you why I don't think you should do it.
Yeah, I think abortion's bad.
The problem is that people like you, when they try to talk the person out of it, potentially, one, they're trying to talk the person out of it, which I think that's them putting their beliefs on the person already. Don't even talk to the person. You can think all of it, but now when you're trying to persuade people,
I'll try to persuade.
Well, then you're a pro-lifer.
I am. That's what I'm saying.
But you're the aggressive one.
But I don't think there should be a law, is what I'm saying.
Okay, I agree with that.
I'm pro-life, but I don't think
there should be a law.
Yeah,
you shouldn't control people at the judicial level.
Right.
We can talk all day.
Right.
But you can't just...
I'm anti-religion.
Right.
I think religion is bad, but I don't think it should be a law.
Banned. It shouldn't be banned.
I don't think religion should be banned. If someone else wants to...
Yeah, have fun. It makes you feel good.
Every Sunday, cool, good for you. If someone else wants to get an abortion, hey, I think that's shitty, but it's your body. It's your baby. You can kill your baby.
Yeah.
Go do it.
I don't think it's killing. It's more of just...
Heartbeat.
So pre-6 is the... Okay. Yeah, I think your answer was much more eloquent than me just... plagiarizing tweets that I saw from memes.
I probably plagiarized my answer from
I think
somewhere.
You thought about that before you came in here and you made me look.
I've been thinking about it the last few days.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been thinking because it's shoved in our faces.
I'm a person, I don't want people to think I'm insensitive, but like I purposely just don't look at shit anymore because it's so. I know that's a pretty big one, and it's inevitable gonna get to my, in my peripherals, but a lot of the shit on the internet, it's just so much fighting. You're just like, Jesus Christ, I can't like handle. I have more shit to worry about. Like I watched the news for like 5 minutes the other day. I'm not even kidding you, 5 to 10 minutes, it was like 3 shooting stories. You're like, is that all we're covering? Just shootings?
And it's so, I mean, this is so obvious and also talked about, but it is so wild that every time a new issue pops up in the news, like Roe versus Wade is the current one, all of a sudden, all the Texas shooting stuff
gone,
all the war in Ukraine, completely out of my algorithm. No one's talking about it. Well, and those problems are still very much have not. Gone away.
They're just, if not more, an issue. But it's even more. Well, first off, that's when you stop looking at the social media like it's this like open forum. You're like, no, it's a business. At the end of the day, the news is a business. If you cover the story that's not getting the clicks, you're not making money.
That's why I hate the news. So
if you step back and look at all these news stories, the war in Ukraine, you'll make a little money, but what's going to make you a lot of clickbait and money on ads is when people are clicking your opinion on, when you're doing some clickbaity ... title for Roe versus Wade. That's what's driving everything. So, I mean,
that's the problem.
That's the problem right there. If you had a news station that like didn't care about making money, but then it's almost so mundane.
Nonprofit.
It's almost so mundane of a story. You're like, is this even real? Like, because we're so accustomed to believing the big ones that when you see like these random, and then you're like, is that fake? And then you're like questioning, you're like, is this fake? I don't even know what the fuck I'm reading anymore. That's why I'm like, you know what? I saw a TED Talk and the guy goes, if it's big enough, it'll get in front of me. Otherwise, I'm just going to completely just start ignoring shit, which sounds like a very scapegoaty, like, you're avoiding issues, man. Right. You're like, am I really like turning a blind eye on shit? You're like, I mean, everybody
but you probably are, because
I am to an extent.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Like I had my answer to the Roe versus Wade was most
it was
scared
good.
Answer.
No, it was your answer. It was good. That's how a lot of people think.
Pro-choice.
Yeah, you're a little boy.
I would have
Anything you want to plug?
Dude, what's up?
You guys know each other?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think so.
You what? Hiked? Just you two?
No, we walked by each other.
Oh, you didn't hike together. No. You saw each other out.
I walked by him. I go, hey, what's up, man?
Someone here to see the studio?
Yeah.
Okay.
I walked by him and I go, hey, what's up, man? He goes, hey, Mike, how you doing? And I kept walking. Plug. I think just check out my social media at Matty Chymbor. Like, subscribe. And if you see me in your area, come to my show. And if you don't.
Is there any other issues you want to talk about? Anything you feel like we missed out on? Same thing for you, Mo. Anything we should just...
You covered the good stuff.
We covered all the good stuff, right?
Yeah. I thought that was the heavy hitters.
Those were.
No, I'm over that.
Okay,
I'm gonna go back to my numb life.
We covered it. You think we covered it? We got it all. Okay, follow me, and we'll see you guys next week. God bless.
Goodbye.
You're listening to
Unlicensed Therapy with Ari Mannis.